When you're doing well, everybody wants your players. Unfortunately for them, we're not planning on selling. Let's see how long that lasts. Welcome back to the Sir Alex Ferguson Aberdeen Challenge here on Super Sammy Plays. With how we've been performing this season, it is no surprise that some of our players are attracting a lot of interest. But we're not looking to sell. If anything, we're using this transfer window to try and strengthen our team. So let's see what business we can get done. We've also got our final Champions League phase games as we look to try and secure one of those important top 8 spots and avoid the dreaded knockout playoff round. So let's get into it. And you might remember we did agree to sell Pujic, and as the window is now just opened, he has gone. And like I just mentioned, everybody seems to want our players at the moment, as Damac are making an offer for Martin Wernblad of 12.5 million, which I think is very low, to be honest. He's certainly been doing pretty well for us this season with 9 goals in 13 starts and 10 sub appearances in just a single striker formation. He was obviously doing better with the 2 up front, but his starting time has been limited since the change in formation. But still, I think 12.5 is very low for how good he potentially could be. So while we reject that offer and wait for some more, we do have a few games to get through. And in this one, Dundee United away in, well, it's at Tannadice, isn't it, I think. We go up 1-0 in this one. Morgan Gibbs-White scoring a goal inside the first minute. And then we added a second in the 15th with Mitchell Frame finding Martin Wernblad, the wanted man, scoring the second goal of the game to give us a 2-goal lead. Next up, Funk out on the left wing this time, and he dribbles past his man and shoots into the near post and defying what is supposedly 10 finishing, as he seems to be doing pretty well and scoring a few goals for us. And then Minor Urena getting his head onto that cross to wrap it up and make it 4-0. We then welcomed Hearts to Pataudry, and it is going to be us that score the first goal in this one, as in the 28th minute. We do eventually score as Jimenez gets a second chance of going past his man and shooting all the way across the goal into the far corner, low and hard, to give us a 1-goal lead. Took us quite a while to get the second in this one though, and it took till the 71st minute. Morgan Gibbs-White playing it inside to that man, Martin Jimenez again, but he provides for Martin Wernblad this time as we score the second and go on to win 2-0. And next up for this run of games, we had an away trip to Ross County in this one. And 26 minutes in, Josh Doig pulling it across goal for a simple tap in for Martin Wernblad. It's pretty much the same as he just scored in the last goal, but from the opposite side. And then Josh Doig again gets a second chance at this one, pulling it back to Levi. Hernandez finding Litherland. And Morgan Gibbs-White shooting into the roof of the net to give us a 2-goal lead. Ross County did pull one back with Ollie Thomas in the 65th minute. But we do go on to score the third in the 71st. Ollie's Alexander spreads it out to the right with Litherland playing wing back in this one. Finding Hernandez, and what a finish that is from the youngster to wrap it up as we go on to win 3-1. And unfortunately, after he just scored that goal, he's going to pick up a slight knock. He's not going to be out for too long, though. And Doig, just on return from his injury, doing the impressing in that one. And we've now reached an unbeaten run of 20 games, so certainly doing pretty well. But along with all those offers for Wernblad, we have got Al Nassr chasing our youngster Urena, which is not good, as obviously we want to keep a hold of him as long as possible. And Bayern Munich, they were mentioned as being interested in Sato. Well, they have made an offer of 22.5 million. And quite surprisingly, I can't lie, he's got no interest in it. So that made it easy for us. Obviously, it's a very good offer, but I think for how good he has been for us, and the fact that he doesn't actually want to go, we rejected this one. And if they really want him, they can come back with a bigger offer and we might think about it then. Al-Hilal also in an offer for our young right back Martin Jimenez, and he's certainly been impressing this season. So again, just like Sato, we are going to reject this one. He seems a little bit more interested than Sato was, but he was also quite happy to stay. So we're going to grant him that wish and keep him at the club for as long as possible. Back to the games though, as we welcome St Mirren to Pataudry for this one. We take the lead in this one in the 39th minute, taking a little bit longer than usual, and it's that man in demand, Martin Jimenez. He's crossed, finding Mohamed Meite, and his header finding the back of the net to give us a 1-goal lead. Idowu did have a chance for St Mirren as his curling effort goes just over the crossbar, and then right on the stroke of half-time, Meite gets hacked down, but Fer Lopez finds the youngster Hernandez and his shot low and hard past the goalkeeper to give us a 2-goal lead and make things a little bit more comfortable for us. We do go close with Hernandez, which would have been an absolute worldie, but his effort hitting the crossbar, thankfully for St Mirren. And then we had another chance in the 54th minute as Jimenez causing chaos again, finding Meite again, but unfortunately the header isn't the same result this time as he heads over, but we do go on to win 2-0. And with that now, Meite is now just the 1 goal away from 10 league goals for the season, which feels a little bit low, I can't lie. I thought he'd scored more than that. He seems like he's scored quite a lot of goals for us this season. So I was quite surprised to have seen that, but he's certainly been our most prolific striker this season. Hernandez, obviously the man getting the plaudits from that one. I say the man, he's, still a teenager. But he's progressing very well. And yeah, good to see he's having a good impact now that he's getting a decent run of games in the team. And we've also made it 24 unbeaten, so we're going from strength to strength. And next up, we play Dundee United again, but this time in the Scottish Cup. And what a performance it was from Morgan Gibbs-White in this one. I'm not going to show you all the goals because, believe me, there were a lot. But for one person in particular, we're going to show his, as Morgan Gibbs-White puts us 2-0 up in the 17th minute with his second goal of the game. Just before this replay, we had scored another goal with that youngster Hernandez doing bits again. Dundee United did pull one back just on the stroke of half-time with Owen Sturton to make it 3-1. Meite had then scored again before this one, but Morgan Gibbs-White scores his hat-trick to make it 5. And then Hernandez gets free down the right, pulling it across, and Morgan Gibbs-White scores again for his 4th goal of the game. And then in the 85th minute, over Levi finding Caicedo, he plays it to Josh Doig, who gets brought down, winning a penalty. And that man, Morgan Gibbs-White, steps up. Goalkeeper goes the right way, but he can't make the save. And Morgan Gibbs-White wins, basically. 5 goals as we win 7-1. So what a performance it was from him, considering he hasn't actually played as much this season. He's now been very good for us. You can see 12 starts, 6 sub-appearances, and 7 goals and 9 assists. Which, like I say, is pretty impressive considering he hasn't been our main starter this year. You might remember Sato did get injured in the last game and he is back now. And Ralston, considering he wants to leave, will not seem to leave for some reason. And I just thought I'd show you, this is our transfer history from this season. You can see we have brought in £37 million worth of talent. Obviously, some of our big signings have been free transfer with Fer Lopez and Siddiqui. And we have sold 70 million worth of talent. So that is a fair old jump. 33 million in profit from player sales this season. And yeah, despite that, our finances are still absolutely stinking. With just 6.2 million in the bank, you can see our expenditure for the month is 7.5 compared to just a 3.5 income. So that is why we're not getting great transfer budgets at the start of every season. And you might remember I was talking about Alisson. Lille have made a contract offer for him, so we'll see what happens there. And we've also received an offer for Keskinen from Hibs. One of our better players, especially early on in this save, isn't really playing too much at the moment, so I thought I'd let him go. I did negotiate up to 1.6 million, so not a great deal of money, but I just thought it'd probably be better just to let him go at this point and make room for potentially somebody else. And to solve our goalkeeper issue, we have re-signed Radek Vitek. You might remember we sold him to Al Nassr for 5 million a few years ago, and we've re-signed him on a free transfer, so pretty good piece of business. And he will be back up to Charles, and probably will be needed, seeing as Charles seems to get injured every 2 minutes. But it is going to be Charles taking the net in this one, as Vitek isn't registered. And we maybe wish he had been, as Panathinaikos went 1-0 up very early on in this one, 5 minutes in. And yeah, bit of a surprise. I expected a pretty comfortable victory here after beating Liverpool and drawing with the likes of City, beating AC Milan. And seemed to be Panathinaikos that caused us all sorts of issues. Josh Doig finding Morgan Gibbs-White, and he continues his good run of form to get us back level in this one. And we absolutely peppered them in this second half. He saw that shot going just over. Diaby then finding Gibbs White and his shot going just over. And then in the 72nd minute, Fer Lopez finding Gibbs White and his first time ball for Martin Wernblad hitting the post. We just couldn't get a winner. And we do draw this one and drop 2 important points. Mate is also making some positive developments. Obviously, he's been our main starting striker this season. And you can see with the 16 starts and 7 sub appearances, he's on 14 goals, which is not too bad. Not quite up to the numbers that Leonardo was, but still doing what we need him to at the moment anyway. Apart from the last match, clearly. Liverland did come saying he was going to leave on free at the end of the deal, so we have offered him out to try and get some money in before that happens. And you can see that Keskinen has agreed to leave the club to go to Hibs. And we wish him all the best because he was certainly one of our best players for quite a number of years at the start of this save. We've also got Ansu Fati back from injury. So we'll see how long this one lasts for. And next up, we get Rangers in the league. And Ansu Fati is on the bench in this one. So we'll see if he can come on and manage to survive a game without getting injured. This is where things start to go off the rails a little bit in this save. After that draw to Panathinaikos, we struggled in this one, going close early on, as I think it was just wide of the post, that one. And then just inside the second half, Doig finding Hernandez, but unfortunately his header going over the crossbar. Rangers seem to be in the same boat, as Rabaj gets free down the right, but his shot going just wide of the post again. And then Levi finding it out to the right with Fer Lopez. Their first time cross dropping to us, and Carlos Alexander having his shot saved. And we drop another 2 points as we fail to score and draw 0-0 with Rangers. And then next up, our final league phase game of the Champions League this season is going to be against Athletic Club. And we found similar issues in this one as Jimenez hits the crossbar early on. And unfortunately, nothing comes from the rebound as it goes out of play. And then Gibbs White finding Fer Lopez and his shot hitting the post. Doig loses the ball and Athletic get away with another one there. And the same as Rangers, Athletic Club were in the same boat as us as they couldn't find the back of the net either as Charles makes the save there. And I think he made the save there as well, putting out for a corner. Mate hitting the crossbar and it just seemed to not be going for us at the minute. As much as we were managing to hit the target with some of these efforts, we just couldn't beat the goalkeeper as Mate misses another chance there. And then what a chance that would have been to win it in the 88th minute. But Mate blazes over the bar and we draw another game 0-0. And with drawing that final game of the Champions League league phase, we have dropped out of the top 8, unbelievably, on goal difference on the last day. Just 1 goal and we would have avoided that dreaded knockout playoff round, which we've found pretty difficult over the last couple of seasons. And we are going to be back in it again after a pretty poor run of form at the end of the league phase. And after I mentioned about Rolston wanting to leave, he is seeking mutual termination of his contract to go and allow him to join another club, which is funny considering he's rejected the other clubs that have offered for him so far. So we did go and spend £10 million on a backup right back, another youngster, this one obviously a bit younger than Jimenez, 18-year-old Vladimir Milanovic. Milovanovic. We'll go with that. And yeah, he looks pretty solid, nothing spectacular, but good potential, and hopefully he has a big future at the club behind Jimenez for now though. Well, we managed to fend off any interest in our top players, for now at least, as well as bringing back our former goalkeeper in Vitek, as we all know how injury-prone Charles has been. Unfortunately, we decided to lose all ability to score goals right at the wrong time. Missing heaps of chances against Panathinaikos and Athletic Club has cost us a place in the top 8 of the Champions League league phase, as we miss out by 1 place in 9th. That means we're headed into that dreaded knockout playoff round, and we'll find out who we play in the next episode. But if you've enjoyed this one, do me a favour, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.